William Afton is not only the bane of my existence, but also the worst person in all of FNAF history. I mean, like, there are other horrible people, like Henry, Mike, Elizabeth, and Vanny, but none of them would have been made or been nearly as bad without William inciting their horrors. But what are some of William's worst moments? In 10, killed his kids. The worst thing that Afton has done by far, really, is gotten his kids killed. Like, sure, he may not have done it directly, but his actions end up resulting in all 3 of his kids' demises. Him killing Charlotte gets Fredbear's clothes, which resulted in him having to open Circus Babies, which made him dust off Baby and the other fun times which were designed to kill in the first place. Baby then ends up grabbing and crushing Elizabeth, which makes her possess the robot. In addition to that, he superpowered the jaw of the Fredbear animatronic to use with the new Freddy Fazbear's, which ends up crushing his youngest son's skull since it wasn't a spring lock failure, due to all the spring locks not being active since, you know, the animatronic was in animatronic mode and not suit mode. I'm gonna keep saying that until everyone understands that. And while you could argue that it was Michael who did this, why would he think that the animatronic mouth would crush a skull? Okay, it shouldn't have done it. It shouldn't have been that powerful. And as the suit technician, William knew what he was doing. And then he gets Michael killed when he sends him down to find his sister in sister location, which results with him getting stuffed full of Ennard parts, which then makes him want to let himself burn in Pizzeria Simulator. So yeah, William's actions got all 3 of his kids killed just because he wanted to kill his business partner's daughter. Insane. And at 9, Remnant. Now, this isn't confirmed, much like other facts on this list. However, it seems like the most likely explanation to me. If you want a full explanation as to why I think Afton is the one who lied about Remnant, be sure you go check out that video. Hopefully I remembered to link it in the iCard. But I'm gonna summarize it quickly. Basically, there have been like 3 fires so far that were meant to finish off William Afton, and none of them have worked. And the reason that Henry tried fire is seemingly because that's supposed to be the only thing that can burn off Remnant. However, Remnant can also be found in liquid form, as we've learned from the books. So how can something be molten, but also be able to be burnt away by fire? That doesn't really make sense. It makes more sense that William made up the lie that he can be killed with fire, so that Henry would keep trying that and failing, so that he wouldn't have to actually worry about dying. Since literally every time that Afton has been caught in a fire, he has survived. And the other animatronics infused with Remnant have also survived, like Baby, the puppet, and Ennard in FNAF 6, as we see from the Blob. So, yeah. I feel like he lied about that. He made up tag art as a way to get Henry on this whole fire's the only way train, just that he could keep surviving. And at 8, stored his daughter. While we know that Afton isn't the best father, I think that it's something else to end up locking your robot possessed by the soul of your dead daughter in an animatronic testing facility, okay? Like, that seems to be a bit too far, if you're asking for my humble opinion. But nevertheless, he still did it, and that's what sister location is all about. And William was even the one who sent us down there as Michael in the first place, and then that ends up, like I said, getting us shoved full of Ennard bits so that they can then escape. Okay, like, did William know about that plan? Because in FNAF 6, Baby says that she'll make her dad proud, so was William's intention to send us down there so that Baby could get out? And if that is the case, would that be worse than locking your daughter down there? Because, I mean, you're locking a robot down there, yes, but then you're sending your other son down there to get that daughter out. I mean, come on. Like, also, if she was your daughter, why not just let her chill in the house, right? Like, in the books, Baby's able to transform between Baby and looking like a human. So why not add that ability to this version, and then you can have your daughter back, albeit a little bit more messed up and a hell of a lot older, but like, they're still more like you in the long run, right? I don't know. Okay, the family's messed the hell up and nothing makes sense, but it's still a thing. If I was William Afton, I would have won. Straight up. And at 7, stuffed. One of the most deranged things that William ever did was stuff the bodies of the original 5 missing children into the original 5 animatronics. Bonnie, Foxy, Freddy, Chica, Golden Freddy. And the craziest part is that he didn't get caught for that. The animatronics smelt like death and were leaking blood and other fluids, and the police didn't bat a goddamn eye. He put these bodies in animatronics that performed for other kids and their parents every single day. He put the bodies on display. How does anyone think that that's a good idea? Like, unless it was his, like, way of displaying his kills or something. something, like some crime shows like to say. You know, like how some killers enjoy the world knowing what they did since it helps them feel more powerful or whatever, fueling their ego. But like, even if that was the point, they don't know the bodies are there, so how could he be using it as an ego boost? Okay, I don't get it. How did the police not confiscate the animatronics as evidence when they were leaking blood? I don't get it, man. Foxy even has holes in his stomach. How could you not see the damn body? And at 6, the Blob. The true ending to Security Breach is seemingly one of the scariest parts of that game because it contains a whole load of weird things. After making your way into Burntrap's area, Freddy will be taken over by Afton's newest form, and then it's up to Gregory to defeat him by using the 3 monitors with their buttons to burn him, which is a whole other can of worms that I've complained about on numerous occasions. Players will also then need to avoid the animatronics that are coming for Gregory, and then use the doors to temporarily lock them out, scare them away with Freddy's screeching, or just hide. But when Springtrap is then finally burned, the Blob, which is like a tentacle monster that was attacking you earlier, will attack him and make sure that he doesn't get free. Or maybe he'll save him. We don't know still, and that makes me mad. Freddy and Gregory will then just be shown escaping and sitting on a hill together, just chillin'. Okay? Come on. The tentacle monster identity is never really revealed, but after this game, the Final Fazbear Frights books would have been released, which would have showed us that the tentacle monster could have been actually Baby, or I guess Elizabeth Afton, or at least that's what it was supposed to be in the books. But like, come on. What the hell? I am so desperately confused by this entire game. It feels like it wasn't the game that it was trying to be, and that it like pivoted its idea halfway through, kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, you know what I mean? You saw the film theory, I'm sure. Halfway through into number 5, FNAF 3. After FNAF 3's endings, we learn about the fire and what we thought that it was. Or at least for around 20 seconds, we thought that it was meant to finish off Afton until people started brightening the final image, like we know what to do with FNAF pictures by now. And then that's when we saw Springtrap sitting in the shadows behind a stuffed animal, like it was like for an image in the news article. I have no idea how the photographer didn't see that, or like if William has news outlets working for him or whatever, but that's absolutely terrifying, okay? And it's really what started us down the whole rabbit hole thing and the multiple different hoops that we had to jump through looking for more clues and lore points that eventually led nowhere. Brightening this one image made us have to comb through the files of a mobile game, okay? Think about that. God, like this image set us on a path to thinking that William survived the first fire and that this would not be the last FNAF game, but I don't know, okay? I don't know if it was supposed to be the point of the Easter egg, if it was like meant to keep the door open, if Scott wanted to do more, but like, hey, either way, it happened, and here we are, 9 games and 15 books later. God, so much has happened. Freaking Christ, dude. We're in the year that FNAF 3 takes place. And at 4, Princess Quest. The whole reason that Princess Quest is a thing in Help Wanted Mobile and Security Breach was to lock Vanny away and prevent her from regaining control of her body. Or at least that's what we think it is. So, why did William create or allow for the creation of a failsafe that lets her escape? I mean, like, sure, they didn't expect some random kid to come along and figure it out, maybe, but given the track record of everything that's happened over the last 40 years, you'd think that William have smartened up by now. That's like having a self-destruct button on your, like, Doofenshmirtz World Killerinator. Okay, like, why would you do that? Why would you give people a reason or a way to stop you? Like if the Flash had a steal all my speed button, or if Superman just had a kryptonite button embedded into their suit. It's stupid. If you want something to work, why would you install a way for it to fail? This is one of the dumbest things that William has ever done, and probably like the 3rd dumbest overall. But like, seriously, okay, what's the point behind creating a way to undo your evil plans? Having ways to undo them, just like outside of your control, is one thing, but creating the way to do it is so stupid. It's one of the most ridiculous things in this game, and I'm talking about Security Breach. Like, what the hell? William has the brain capacity of a toddler, and that was before getting burnt 3 fucking times. Christ. Dude, fix your brain. Stop worrying about trying to kill people and just, like, fix yourself. Go to therapy. Get a new brain. God. Getting close to the end in number 3, Assimilate. The ending of FNAF VR, like the real ending where you have to fight Glitchtrap, is certainly a terrifying moment. And it also just kind of sounds weird, you know? Like this guy pops up in your VR headset and then takes over your body, so you end up killing for him. That's messed up, okay? Like, that's not kind of messed up, that's incredibly messed up. I mean, she knows what's going on too, okay? Vanessa actively talks in hushed tones about how she can't talk about it to her therapist. So like, what the hell is the dynamic here? I mean, like, possessing someone is already pretty messed up, but then causing them to make a rabbit furry costume because you have a whole other set of kinks is something that I don't even want to know about, okay? Like, she knows that there's something evil inside of her brain that's making her do things, and she's not doing anything about it. She fears for her life, which only makes me wonder what William's been saying to her and like what she's been doing, okay? Like, she has full knowledge of her darker half, and it's not like William's going to make you off yourself because, you know, he needs you still, okay? Like, you're willing to lock a kid in the lost and found room until the police arrive, but you know damn well that you're not going to call the police and that your darker half is going to take over and then try to track him down. Like, come on. And ultimately, in number 2, possibly killed wife. This also hasn't been confirmed as of yet, so it's certainly not canon, but many people consider William Afton offing his wife to be the story of her demise. Even though technically we know nothing about her, and she could still be alive, many people consider her to have died in a car crash or because William killed her. Those are the most common thoughts on the matter, or the most common theories, but her dying in a car accident actually came from a FNAF music video from the Living Tombstones. So yeah, there's no way that it's actually canon to the series, but I've still had many people yell at me in my DMs saying that it is canon that she died in a car crash, but no, it's not, okay? It's not even canon that she died, but the potential is still there that William was the reason she kicked the animatronic part-filled bucket. Since it's only a possibility though, it's not going to be number 1, but if it gets confirmed, I'm willing to bump it up. Alright, I am. Although statistically speaking, your spouse is the most likely person to actually kill you, so maybe the odds are in our favor this time. And finally, in number 1, Midnight Motorist. The Midnight Motorist minigame seems simple enough, but the true horror of this minigame comes from its implications, since in the game files the minigame is known as Later That Night, which most people akin the game to what happened after William kills Charlotte outside of Freddy Fazbear's in FNAF 2's Take Cake minigame. But if this is the case, this is one of the scariest moments in all of FNAF history, not even just for William. This man just killed someone, but then just goes home to his kids. He reprimands his son and then abuses him by locking him in a room. Plus, he has to like break his window to end up escaping. Like, think of all the people driving past him unaware of the violent crime that he just committed. It's terrifying because this could be the case in the real world. Technically speaking, anyone we encounter could be a serial killer, and that is a horrific thought, since really you're only alive because everyone you've ever encountered has chosen not to kill you, which only makes the whole anyone could be a serial killer thing even worse. And in this case, this man literally just killed someone and then goes home and starts yelling at his son who's been locked in his room all day. How much anger do you have? It reminds me of that Arrow scene after Prometheus killed the cops and he's just driving back after the cops are like en route to where he was and he's just covered in blood and just keeps going. Yeah. And you know what? If you like talking about messed up things as much as us, be sure to click in the video that's popping up on screen now. Thanks for watching.